Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video I'm going to be continuing the original 150 series. This time I'm going to be showing you how to make Pharaoh, and this series is still in its probationary phase, but I've got to tell you guys, from the amount of support that Pharaoh's had, it's looking very good for this series. I think that we might hit 150 this time. Anyway, if you want to make it, here's what you're going to need. If you want to make it, here's what you're going to need. You're going to need black wool, dark grey, white, pink, magenta, orange, and finally brown wool. They're the only colours that we're going to need. Once you've got those and once you've figured out where you want to make it, I'm going to be making it right here. You're going to want to start this off by doing 2 black blocks in a row on the floor. So 1, 2, like so. By the way, just to inform you now, this build, like Fearow, is kind of tricky. There's a lot of backtracking, there's a lot of weird shapes to make, so if the instructions aren't always 100% accurate, or if I just kind of lose my words, I apologise, but as I said, this is kind of tricky. Continuing on. So what you're going to want to do from this left block that we have here of the 2 is you're going to want to do an up left diagonal. You're then going to want to place 3 blocks on top. 1, 2, 3. You're then going to want to do a block going right of that top block, and then 2 blocks going up from that block, so 1, 2. What you then want to do is another upright diagonal, place 3 blocks on top of that, 1, 2, 3, and then place a block going left of that top block to give you a shape which should look so far like that. Pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, and here's where some of the backtracking comes into play, you're going to want to come back down to here, where we have this row of 4 right here. You're going to want to extend out these top 2 blocks to the left of your row of 4, like so. What you then want to do underneath this second block, underneath this bottom block I should say, is you're going to want to do 2 bottom left diagonals, so 1 and 2. What you then want to do is do a block going left of that second diagonal, a block on top of it, and then you're going to want to do 2 upright diagonals from that block that you just went up with, so 1 and 2, to give you a shape which should look like that. What you're then going to want to do, once you've formed that, is you're going to want to, from this block right here, the second upright diagonal, you're going to want to do an up left diagonal from that. You're then going to want to do a block going left. Then you're going to want to do 2 bottom left diagonals, so 1 and 2. You're then going to, from that second bottom left diagonal, do a block going left, a block going up, and then 2 upright diagonals, so 1, 2. So you've formed a shape very similar to the one that you have just done there. And those are Pharaoh's claws, so, or talons, technically talons. Pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, you're going to want to come back up to here, up to the second talon. You're going to want to do an up left diagonal. You're then going to want to go left 1. You're then going to want to place a single dark grey wool, also going left. And then a single black, going left as well, in the same line as the dark grey. What you then want to do, underneath the dark grey, starting from beneath this dark grey here, is you're going to want to do a line of 4 black going left. So 1, 2, 3, 4. What you then want to do is a bottom left diagonal from the 4th block going left, so like so. Then you're going to want to do 2 black going left, 1, 2. You're then going to want to do 4 bottom left diagonals, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. What you then want to do is go left 1, up 1. You then want to do 2 upright diagonals, so 1 and 2. Go up 1 on top of the second upright diagonal. Do another upright diagonal. Place 1 on top. Do another upright diagonal. Go right 1, down 1, right 1, down 1. To give you something which should look, in total, like that. Kind of a weird shape, I know, and we're going to be doing even more backtracking on ourselves, so just to give you an idea of the sort of shape we've made now, Isn't that a messed up shape? It's going to take form in a little while, but it's still messed up. Anyway, pause this if necessary. Once you've done that, you're going to want to come back to here. And you're going to want to place a block going right from this block right here. You guys can see where I am. I can't even begin to describe that. So go right there, one. Place a block on top. Do an upright diagonal. One on top. Upright diagonal. One to the right. Bottom right diagonal. Two going down. Like so. Then from this row 3 that you have here, the middle block, you're going to want to go right by 2. 1, 2. Down 1. So you've formed another row of 3. You're going to want to extend out the middle block of this row of 3 by 2. 1, 2. Let me just show you what you should have done there. Again, really weird shapes, stuff that I can't even really explain, to be honest with you. I'm doing my best. That's what you want to have. And overall, just this whole left part here, since the first bit is rather easy, that's the sort of shape you want to have made. Pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, we can continue on with the outline. So, to continue, you're going to want to come back over to here, where we have these 2 blocks. Again, can't describe where I am, but you guys can see where I am. On top of this left block here, you're going to want to go up 1. You're then going to want to do an up left diagonal. Place 1 on top, then an upright diagonal, 1 to the right, 1 down, and then a bottom right diagonal to give you that. You then want to come back up to here where we have these 2 blocks next to each other. On top of the left one, you're going to want to go up by 2, so 1, 2. You then want to do an upright diagonal, 1 to the right, 1 down, then a bottom right diagonal, 1 down, to give you something which should look like that. What you then want to do is come back up to here again. As I said, a lot of backtracking here. Back up to here again, this block on the right. You're going to want to do an upright diagonal from it. Go 1 to the right, 1 down. You then want to do a bottom right diagonal, and then go 1 to the right. You then want to, underneath these 2 blocks that you have here, do 2 blocks underneath those 2 blocks and extend it out to the right by 1 on the second row underneath to give you that sort of shape. And furthermore, just to show you the head again, that's Pharaoh's head, by the way, if you haven't gathered. You might not have. You're going to want to have something which should look like that. Pause that if necessary. Let's continue. So coming back up to this little weird shape that we have here, you're going to want to, from this block that's sticking out, do a bottom right diagonal. Go 2 to the right, 1, 2. Then go 1 up. Then do an up left diagonal. Then an up right diagonal. Go 1 to the right. Come back to this left block here. Place 1 on top. 2 to the left. And then do a bottom left diagonal to connect things all the way back together to give you that sort of shape. What you then want to do is you want to come up to this weird shape that we have here where we have this line of 3. And you're going to want to, from the most right block here, do an upright diagonal. Place 1 to the right, then 1 going up. Then do an upright diagonal. Then from there, do a bottom right diagonal. Go down by 2, 1, 2, to give you a line of 3. Extend out the middle block to the right by 1. Then do a bottom right diagonal. Then go down by 2 from the bottom right diagonal, so 1 and 2. Go left 1. Then do 3 bottom left diagonals, so 1, 2, and 3. And then connect everything together by just doing a block to the left from that third bottom left diagonal. And I will show you what we've done right there, that shape that we've made, once we have light again, so I'll be back in a sec. So this is the shape that we've just finished making, and you should have something which looks a little bit like that. I wanted to wait until we had the light so that you guys could see this properly, so pause this if necessary. Once you've done that, And as a matter of fact, let me just show you what you want to have all together. Such a weird shape this. It really is. It's like an abstract painting. It makes no sense. As a matter of fact, looking at this, I could mistake this for Moltres. It kind of looks like Moltres on the left without any colouring in. Anyway, the reason that I've zoomed out to show you this is because we're going to be starting from a different point here. So once you are at this point, again, pause this if you need to catch up. We're going to come back to our starting point. So these two blocks right here. And this time, we're going to, on top of this block that we have here to the right, you're going to want to place a block on top of it, and then 2 blocks going right. What you then want to do, on top of this middle block of 3 here, you're going to want to do 2 going up. You're then going to want to do an upright diagonal, and then place 2 going up. You're then going to want to do an upright diagonal, and place 1 on top, to give you something which should look like that. And now we get to do more backtracking. So once you've done that, you're going to want to come back down to here, this upside down T-shape that we have here now. And from this little right block here, you're going to want to do an upright diagonal. You're then going to want to place 1 on top, then an upright diagonal, 1 on top, upright diagonal, 1 on top, to give you something which should look like that. What you then want to do, once you've done that, again with the backtracking, you're going to want to come back down to here when we have the stick of 2. And you're going to want to, from this bottom block, do a block going right, then an upright diagonal, then another upright diagonal, place a block on top, then another upright diagonal, place 3 blocks on top of this one, 1, 2, 3. You're then going to want to do an up left diagonal. You're then going to want to do this. You want to do 1 on top, 1 to the left, 1 on top, 1 to the left, 1 on top, and then you're going to want to do 4 going left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and that should connect diagonally with what we have there. What you then want to do on this row of 5 that we have here, well, you're going to want to raise up this 3rd block, the middle block that we have here, just by 1. And as a matter of fact, what you can do is place a brown to the left of that black block that you've just raised up. And then what you're going to want to do in this gap that we have here, this empty space sandwiched in between the brown and the black, you're going to want to do 2 black going up, then a black going right, place 1 on top. You're then going to want to do 2 upright diagonals, so 1 and 2. Place 1 on top of the second one. You're then going to want to do another upright diagonal. Go to the right by 2. 1, 2. Then do a bottom right diagonal. Then go right 1. Down 2. 1, 2. Then do 3 bottom left diagonals. So 1, 2, and 3. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the outline. However, this is the set. I can't speak today. I'm having problems with S's for some reason. This is the... See what I mean? Jesus Christ, Stutter City. Let's move on to the more formal part of this. So this is what you want to have just made. This part of the outline right here, and those are actually Pharaoh's tail feathers. So pause that if necessary. And as a matter of fact, once you have reached this point right here, let me just zoom out for this, you have completed the outline. It is 100% complete, and I think you should give yourself a bit of a pat on the back just for managing to do that, because look at that. That is an absolute mess. It is just all over the place, and as a matter of fact, it still looks like Moltres to me. I feel as though I could turn this into Moltres. If I just took out the red, orange, and yellow, I could make this a Moltres. I almost considered it. Let's move on before this does become Moltres. So, once you are at this point right here, and pause this if you have to catch up of course, it's time to do some colouring in. So, I'm going to do some colouring in whilst I explain how this is going to happen. So, I'm going to be adding all of one colour at a time to Fearow. So, in this case, I'm going to be adding all of the dark grey that exists in Fearow right now at once. I'm not going to try and explain the process of me adding the colour because that never ends well. Trust me, I've tried this before. However, the best way that I have found of explaining how to colour things in is this. This is all of the dark grey that exists in Fearow. As you can see, it sits right next to the outline. There's very little of it, and it should be very simple for you to quite easily just look at the video, see where I've placed it on mine, and just apply it to yours. Pause that if necessary, add all of the dark grey, and once you've done that, we're going to be adding the next colour. We're going to be adding white. So all of the white that exists in Fearow is all confined to this little section right here, and a little bit down where the eyes are. So let me just show you this. As you can see, that is all of the white wall that exists in Fearow. Very easy to do. You should have no trouble adding that whatsoever. So as you can see, the first colour may be difficult to add, second colour may still be difficult, but the third, fourth, fifth, it just gets easier and easier with this method. I really have had no success whatsoever with any other method. This is the best way I can think of, until I either have an epiphany or somebody suggests otherwise, of showing you where and how to add in colour to a pixel art. So that is all of the white that exists in Fearow. Pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, we're going to be adding two colours this time. We're going to be adding the pink and the magenta, quite simply because they exist next to each other in relatively confined spaces. So I'm just going to be adding all of the pink and magenta that exists. And this is actually the most time-consuming, video-wise, that is, way of me showing you where all of the colour is. And the thing about this method as well, showing you where the colour is, or like showing this part of the video, like me zipping around adding all of the colour, you have always got the option of, quite simply, if you for some reason get confused, rewind back and slowly go through where I'm adding the colour, like manually, rather than what I'm doing now. So this is all of the pink and all of the magenta that exists in Fearow. As you can see, also extremely easy, nothing much to it whatsoever. It sits next to the outline and it sits next to each other. So pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, we're going to be adding all of the... We'll add all of the brown. That seems to be the next logical colour. So there is actually quite a lot of brown. Most of Fearow is actually both brown and orange. Although, if you count the outline, I suppose he's mostly black. But, you know, not really. So, just going to be adding in all of the brown and orange. Should be very simple for you. Not too complicated whatsoever. Oops. I'm not being very accurate today either with my block placing. I've noticed that. It's been very all over the place. I'll actually place an orange block just to make that easier. So I suppose I've placed all of the brown plus a small amount of orange. Alright, so this is all of the brown wall that exists on Fearow. I notice it is quite far spread apart, so I'm going to be giving you a few different angles of this. So this is the wide one. This is the only one that I'm going to be showing you of it all together. Pause this if necessary. And I'm just going to cut it in half for you. So just to show you the body and the head. That's all of the brown in the body and the head. Pause this if necessary. And let me show you all of the brown in the wing and the tail feathers. There's very little in the wing and there's not too much in the tail feathers either. So this is the other half. Pause this if necessary. Once you've done that, it is time to fill all of the rest of Fearow in with orange wool. So there is no need to be careful anymore. All you have to do to fill in the orange is just quite literally occupy any space. So just go all the way around Fearow and fill any empty space in with orange wool. So there's a fair amount of it. There's probably a little more brown, actually. I thought there was more orange than brown, but oh well. Doesn't really matter. We could have added either one of the colours in, really. No, there's probably about an equal amount there, I would say, anyway. So this is what it should look like once you've finished adding all of the orange into Fearow, and of course once you have finished doing that, you have yourself a 100% complete finished Fearow. Take a bit of a look at him, he looks pretty good if you ask me. He would have made a better Moltres, but Fearow's a close second. I don't really have anything to say other than I hope that you guys found the colouring in process easy enough to follow. It's the best way that I've ever found of trying to explain how to colour things in. And I hope that you found the outline easy enough to follow as well. I know that that's kind of tricky. It really is a weird shape. So, I hope that you guys found in total this easy enough to follow. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. I believe Ekans is number 23? Is he? I don't know, I guess we'll see. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, maybe you should think about subscribing. I have plenty more stuff like this on my channel. I have tutorials ranging from YouTube statues, skin statues, houses, pixel art, the list goes on. Thanks for watching.